live, and welcome to Talk Live. Let me get back onto the full cam here. Hope you are doing well. Hope you're doing great. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. Let me angle my camera a bit better here on YouTube, and we are ready on IG. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. Again, glad to be back after a little break, and I mean mini break because of the illness that I suffered. Just a bit of a cold this time of year, you know, the transition of weather, and I was out this weekend. I should have been posting my videos, but I was too sick to do so. Post my videos from starting from Scratch's birthday party. If you know Starting from Scratch and you're from the Six, you know about Starting from Scratch. Who's like one of the great DJ success stories in this city, and he's been doing it for about 30 years. I've known him for about long that time, so I'm aging myself, to be fair. And yeah, it was a great birthday celebration to attend anyway. So I'll have a few more photos and a few more films about that as we go along. He offered me a shirt that night. So again, shout out to my man Starting from Scratch. And he's going to be going on tour with, I believe, Salt and Pepper, and I believe he's going to be at the Hollywood. He's going to be at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame doing some DJing as well. So he's doing it big. And you know, kudos to him. I raise a glass to him because again, he is a world-renowned talent who's collaborated with the likes of Russell Peters, who's collaborated with the likes of countless R&B and hip hop artists over time, and even reggae artists as well. He has his time with them as well. So again, shout out to my man Starting from Scratch. So let's get into it. Hope you enjoyed your week. Hope you are doing well. We are well into fall. We are well into November. We have moved past Halloween, and now we're into the pre-Christmas season. That's right, people. It's November already. It's November the 9th today. Yes, indeed. And yeah, it's a bit weird that how quick the year has gone by. I mean, just the other day it was July, and now we are in November. We are in prime November right now, and we are, you know, moving towards Christmas and gift giving and getting and such. But again, what this would be considered right now is cuffing season. Cuffing season, if you didn't know. Sorry about that. Hear that from time to time because, again, I do have a cold, so I'm just trying to get rid of it as we speak. So, one moment. There we go. Free myself up for a little bit of time there, but we're just going to go through it. Yes, that's right. One thing my dad taught me, rain or shine, you got to get to work. And, yeah, I try to use my work ethic here as well, so. One today, you got another one tomorrow. I saw another topic that I want to feature tomorrow, and I will hold that to myself. I'll keep it to myself until tomorrow happens. But again, you will know about it in due course. But yeah, just getting back to it, this would be considered cuffing season. Cuffing season is, again, the season where people would tend to get a text. People would tend to get together. People would not. I mean, dating still goes on. But people would like to get into more relationship-based, into more relationships at this time because, again, you're not as free and as mobile as you would be in the summertime. As we say, summertime is when people, you know, are free of cuffing, free of entanglement with anybody. Well, I guess you get into little entanglements, as Jada Pinkett always has proved, but again, it's a time when people, you know, in the summer where people would rather date, would rather be single, would rather chase a few prospects at that time. But again, that's if you are not in a committed relationship. But this is the time of year, I would say, during the fall, winter, even the part of the spring year where people like to get together. People like to, you know, form long-lasting bonds. And Tonight's show is all about if there are enough long-lasting bonds to form, especially when it comes to women. And we're going to get into that right now. And I'm just going to copy off of, I'm not going to copy off of fair use, of course. But I'm just going to put a slant on what Medium Man had, I think this weekend. And, oh, wow, okay. Did I turn this on? I hope so. I hope that's on. Wow. Okay, guys. That was not exactly what I was looking for, really. Let me make sure that I'm done everything here on YouTube. I don't know where that came from. It was a bit of a power surge. To be fair, hold on. Let me just get myself together here on. Oh, okay. We're still going here on live. I believe so. I believe we are on live here. So let me see if we got it on the full cam. Yes, we are on full cam. Let me go back to the. We're on browser, so we're going back to the full cam now. Yeah, we're back on full cam. I don't know what that was. Anyways, I checked it out. It seems everything's okay, so we're just going to do that. We're just going to continue, keep on rolling. There was a bit of a power surge for some reason, and now I can't see the sound. I don't know what happened there. But again, I hope that things can be rectified here. I hope things are available here anyways. And you can still hear me. But it looks like everything's recording, so we're just going to continue. We're going to keep it rolling. Hopefully, fingers crossed, things don't get messed up. And we can move forward with this on Talk Talk Live. Hope you can hear me on YouTube. Hope you can hear me on IG. So let's get into it. Yes. So I'm following on Media Man's focus on this subject. A couple of days ago, he did a live that I participated in. It was a very, very well done live, and it involved research that he'd done with statistics from the U.S. Census, with statistics from the CDC in the U.S., in which it rated how many he took it from the black experience, from the black diaspora, and he wanted to know himself if there were enough black women for black men out there. And we're going to extrapolate that to the wider public, but let's get into it right now. So thank you very much for joining me at Talk Live. We're going to go to the browser. There it is, and we're going to head there now. Yes, there he is. There's Media Man as we speak. And we're going to break this down and see indeed if there are enough women to go around for men. And I mean good women. Now, we're going to explain what these good women are in a bit, what these eligible good women, what men are looking for in terms of optimal dating options right now. Because, again, it goes a little deeper. You can't, I mean, let me say this. There are certain criteria that men are looking for, as women are looking for, in terms of people to date. As with all people, people have their criteria, people have their standards, people have their no-go zones, and they're people who they would rather date and people who they wouldn't rather date. And this is going we will take it from a female and male standard tonight, but we're going to see indeed through black eyes, and then we're going to extrapolate it out to the wider public if indeed there are enough good, dateable black women, good women there through the black lens. If there are enough good women out there for black men to date these days, and we're going to and then we'll extrapolate it out to further races, and then also to further different phenomena that's happening out there right now. So thank you very much for joining me. So we're going to get into it right now. So let's go with what Media Man had to present. Shout out to Media Man. Fair use, fair use, fair use. His video, are you still catching us? Are you still catch after 7 statistical factors are removed? Again, as I explained, there are certain criteria that people would like to see in a mate, in a potential mate, into a potential long-term relationship, and these statistical factors will be spoken about tonight. And then we will see indeed what comes out in the wash. Well, let's get into it right now. Thank you very much, Media Man. Do like and subscribe to me. Doing wonderful things in these YouTube streets. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Let's get into it.
Realistically, we start stripping away, and if it was a quote-unquote perfect world, then that's what will be left in the black community.
So I'm not with nobody, because I don't want to hurt nobody. Did it over.
Just moving up a little quicker.
So starting from the top, the highest percentage, once we went through.
So to start, we are starting from the black male perspective to see how many black men are available in the United States. Now, again, this could be easily extrapolated to different countries within the Western world for black men. But again, the widest, one of the biggest populations of black men in the Western world is in the United States. So they would have a more definitive look at this subject. So we're going to go on the CDC and the U.S. Census statistics, because in Canada there are a few, but again, it's not as dialed in as they would be with the CDC and the U.S. Census. And that's what makes up the statistics that not only are presented here, but also on blackdemographics.com. Stats for and created by black people through the CDC and the U.S. Census. So let's get into it.
Was overweight and obesity. Remember, I told you guys I'm clinically obese because I have 10% body fat and muscle weighs more than fat. So we're removing 68.6% of the 19.91 million black men. So the black men who are left, who are not overweight or obese, is 6.2 million. So that's all that we're left with. So remember, these are the people that we consider dateable because, like I said, when we first started this stream, black women place a lot of emphasis on a man's looks. So in order to be fair, I had to remove the overweight and obesity, which typically goes against what men are taught in these spaces. Women don't care what you look like as long as you have money. There are a lot of women that will compromise themselves because of the money. And it's perfectly fine. And a lot of women are like that because we know that women are hypergamous by nature. But in the black community, our women tend to put looks at a high level. That is on top of the list. Can we agree on that? So that's why I had to be fair and remove the overweight and obese men. So let me know if you are out. If you are an obese or overweight man, then you are out. You are not dateable.
Now, again, he's right. So I would consider myself a bit overweight myself. So, that category would rule me out. Now, again, as he said, 68.6% of men are considered overweight and obese in the United States. And I would see that as comparable in most Western countries, be it UK, be it in Canada, et al. Name your westernized country where there are a lot of black men. And you would tend to find them about 50% or more, depending on the country, as being obese, as being overweight and obese. So again, if you are, as you said, about 10 to 15% body fat, then you would be considered yourself as dateable. And I was that for a long time. I was getting down to that this summer, but I am back in the overweight department. But I'm looking to get back into it. So again, but that hasn't stopped me. But still, I would be considered undateable. So again, I'm counting myself out of this ranking. So let's continue.
So we're left with 6.2 million. Single, never married. This is our target demographic. So this is where we're going to use some reverse mathematics. So again, guys, we're using the population that's left over after we took out the overweight and obese at 6.2 million. Now, 52% of black men are single, never married. That is 10.3 million. It mirrors the numbers that we already covered. 52% of 6.2 million. Remember, we're taking out the actual number that's left over. 52% of 6.2 million is 3.2 million black men. So this is the number that we're going to be using moving forward. So we're using this number. We're not using the lowest number because we want this group. So out of the 6.2, 52% is 3.2 million. So that leaves us with that number. So let's go to fathers. 46% of 19.91 million is 9.1 million. And I'm doing this for a reason. I want to put the actual number so you guys can see, the difference. So if you take 46% out of the 3.2 million, which is left over from the single never married, that is 1.4 million black men who are not obese, single, never married. Not yet. We haven't put the married in there yet. Married is still factored in there. See that? And then you minus that 1.4 million from 3.2 million, you get 1.7 million. So what I did here, just to be clear, 46% of 3.2 million is at 1.4. Our whole number that we like, that we want, is 3.2 million. So you just minus that and you keep the highest number. You see that? So that's why we have 1.7 million left. So we took out the fathers, we took out the black men who are overweight and obese, and we kept the single, never married. Now, we have 1.7 million married and not married black men. And remember, I didn't take out married yet because that number, that percentage is lower. Here we go.
So what he just did there was he took, just getting back to it, just so we could see, have a look at it here, is that he took out the obese. He took out the overweight. That's the first thing he did. So 68% of the total black, of the 19 million black population in the United States, he took out 68% of that. So they're gone. So therefore, you have the 6 million that remain. Then he slashed out those who were single, never married. Slashed those guys. That was about 52% of the 19 million, which is about 10 million. However, we are considering also men who are not overweight and obese. So he slashed that to 3 million. Then he took out the fathers. The fathers, to a lot of these ladies, are an encumbrance to them. Although a lot of ladies would date a lot of fathers, because I've seen it. I've seen it so many times. The fact of the matter is, 46% of black men are fathers. So that was about 9 million. So he slashed that down too. So 46% of the 3 million who are not, of 46% of the 3 million. Now the 3 million are those who are black, those who are black, not obese and overweight, and those who are single and never married. So that reduces the number that much more. So 46% of 3 million comes to 1.4 million. As you can see, comes to 1.4 million. And then you divide that by the single, never married, and then you get 1.755, 1,755,489 married. That 1,755,489 men who are not obese and overweight, who are single, never married, who are fathers. Okay, that is what we are getting the 1.75 for. Now again, these numbers can be further expanded by including those who are obese and overweight, but women tend to not look at that. So we're looking at the elite men. We're looking at elite men who are weight conscious, who are single, never married, and who are not fathers. These are the elite men that women are looking for. That would be their first choice. All right? So that's why we arrived at the 1,755,489 men. So let's continue.
Married and not married black men. And remember, I didn't take out married yet because that number, that percentage is lower. Here we go. 1.7 million married and single black men. Married black men, 33%. We already determined that is 6.5 million of the total black male population. 33% of that whole 17.
Hold on. Before I speak, I did not feature the fact that we are sponsored tonight by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Yes. This is vintage Duntalk, probably my favorite Duntalk outfit that is still for sale on Duntalk.com. You can get it now, get it anywhere. So do tap in and get that for yourself. So let's continue.
1.7 million number is 579,000 black men that we had to remove. So we removed the married men. So if you minus that, you come out with 1.1 million black men who are single, never married. So this is our good number, but we still stripping away, right? Black men in poverty. I already went over that number. 15.5% of black men are in poverty. So we have to remove that. Here's the number, what it looks like from the general population. That's 3 million. We covered that. 15.5% of 1.1 million single, never married black men is 182,000. You minus that from the 1.1 million, which is our whole number that we're focusing on, you get 969 black men left. Now,
Okay,
keep
so
going.
before we go on with
This
that,
is what we have.
okay, before we go on with that, just to recap, let's go back and recap. Now we are at 175 married and single black men. So again, married and single black men. So again, single never married. So we've already taken out the overweight and obese. We've already taken out the single never married. We've already taken out the fathers. So we've taken out the fathers. Single, single never married, and we've taken out the overweight and obese. So now we're at 175. So now we take out the married black men. So they take those out of the equation because no black woman wants to get married to a man who's already been married. So that takes out 33% of the population because that's the rate at which black men are married. So that's 579,311. 30% of the 1,755,489 people equals 579,311. So that's who remain of eligible black men who are not married, are single, never married, who are not obese, and who have not had kids. And we've taken out the married black men. So therefore, we now stand at 178 million black men. So take out the poverty men because no women are dating men who can't earn and who are living on the streets. They're not dating them. So that takes out 50% of black men who are in poverty. So therefore, that's about, 15.5% of black men. So that's 3 million. 3 million black men live in poverty. Wow. That's amazing. That's a really huge statistic to take in there. But again, of that 3 million, of the single never married, 1.178 black men, it leaves, that is 182,307 men. So you subtract that from the 1,176,178 black men, and you're left with 969,171 black men left. It's a very, very exact statistic. We got to thank my man, Media Man, for doing this, and it shows that there are not very many men who are overweight, who are not overweight, obese, who have not been married, and who are single, who are not overweight and obese, who are not single, who are single, never married, who have no children, who are not married, and who are not in poverty. But it doesn't stop there. We continue.
You get 969 black men left. Now, let's keep going. This is what we have left. I put the figure in there just so we can make sure. Black men in prison. So 612,000 out of 19.91 million is 3%. We got that out there. 3% of 969, which is our positive number, is 29,000 black men that we had to remove. So if you minus that, we are left with 939,000 black men who are not obese, single, never married, not fathers, not married, not in poverty, and not in prison.
That is a staggering number. That there's a size of a small, let's see. I would say Atlanta, just above the size of Atlanta. I would say maybe Memphis, because I think Memphis is about 612,000 of a small metropolitan city in the United States. Sorry for the cough. The size of a small metropolitan city are in jail that are black, which it's only 3% of the population. Yes, however, it's a very, very large number that needs to be reduced. That is one sum that is still staggering to this day. However, it is coming down. But what does that mean? That means 97, I would say, you can round it up, 97% of black men are out of jail. They are tax-paying, law-abiding citizens. That's a good thing. However, there's a whole lot of there's a small city of black men still in jail, which needs to be reduced drastically. But let's continue. So we have 939,418 black men dateable left who are not, again, obese or overweight, who are single and never married, who are not fathers, who have not married, who are again, let's see the last one there, and who are not in poverty. There it is. So we have those 5 factors. So, and who are not in prison. So you have 6. In prison, who are not overweight and obese, who are not married, who are single, never married, who are not married, who are not in poverty, who are not fathers, and who are not in prison. So that's 6 already. And the final one is this. Let's continue. The one that a lot of women still look out for, but it's a bit of a misnomer. Let's go.
Now, we have gay black men. We have to take 2.3% out. So if you remove that from the general population, that would be 457,000, which mirrors what we just talked about. And then also you take that same 2.3% from our positive number of 939,000. That is 21,000 black men who are removed. Now, you minus that, you have 917,812 black men who are left.
So again, guys, we take out those representing LGBTQ. Now again, usually those in the LGBTQ tend to be gay, and that's it. They tend not to be bisexual. They tend not to be queer. They tend not to be bisexual, queer, lesbian, or any other sort, or any of the QI, or any more of the alphabet gang / pink mafia at all. They just tend to be gay, and it's only 2% of the population. So this whole down low myth can be dismissed right now. It's only 2% of the population who identify themselves as gay, and are black men. So you take out that total, which is only about 21,000. So again, it's the size of a small arena in the United States consider themselves gay black men. And again, that leaves us with, taking that away from the 939,418 black men who are, again, all those criteria that we've already discussed. And it only leaves 917,812 black men available. So, again, a very, very small sum from 19 million. Remember, so that's about, I would say about 10%. Let's do a quick bit of math here. Let me see here, calculator, quickly. Let's get a calculator out quick. There we go. So let's see. You got 19,000. Okay, so we're doing this quick math right here. So you have 917,000. So 917. So let's do this. 917. Let me see. 1917. Let's just round it up. 917,000 divided by 19 million. You can see it here on Talk Talk Live on YouTube. 19 million. Just rounding the numbers up. There we go. 19 million. And that equals about what? I would say, what? 4% of the population? So 4% of the black male population are considered dateable. Thank you very much to the calculator for that. But, thank you. 4% of the population are considered dateable. 4% considered dateable. Now again, these numbers are very stringent numbers. They are eliminating a lot of factors here. Prison, overweight, married, single, fathers, gay, and also, if we call it, yes indeed, black men in poverty. So we're eliminating all those factors to get to this one. So again, there are 917,812 optimal black, like top tier, eliminating all categories, black men left to date in the United States. So we continue.
That gives us our total There are 917,812 black men who are not overweight or obese, childless, single, never married, aren't impoverished, gay, or in prison.
So therefore, only 4% of the population, 4% of the population, taking into all these factors, are considered dateable black men. I mean, top tier black men. And this does not take into account how much they make, doesn't take into account their personalities, doesn't take into account if they love their mothers, doesn't take into account if they're cool factor or not, if they smell nice, if they act right on dates, if they're sexually proficient or not. Takes into account none of that. They're just black men who are not overweight, not obese, not childless, who are single, never married, who aren't impoverished, gay, or in prison. So, this can be taken down by a number of factors just by those alone. So again, we'll find that out later on in the telecast. Let's continue.
That's how we get our whole number. Who hold on strong? So you guys, you see how that I broke that down? Hopefully you guys understand.
Now again, these numbers can be extrapolated over, can be, moved to scale depending on the nation you're in. So if you're in Britain, this can be numbered, you compare this down to the black population there. I think they only consider about 3% of the black population. Take 3% of this, and that's how many black population are there. You come to Canada. Canada, I think, is about 6 to 7 or 8%. You pare that number down, that compares to Canada. You compare anywhere in the Western world, compare that number down, depending on the population. You're pretty much at median, depending on where you live in the world. So, and we're considering the Western world. We're not considering Africa because there'll be so many more black men that are there that are considered dating. That are considered eligible dating. You're not considering the Caribbean, which you'll have a number of black men who are ready to date. However, that could be pared down in terms of population there by the percentage population compared to this. But so it's 917,812. But you could take 3% of this. You could take 3% of this because black men considered 20% of the population in the United States. I think it's 14. I think it's 14% of the population in the United States. Let me just see. So 14% of the population. Black male percentage of population in the United States. In U.S. So it is considered, yes, okay, we had it on blackdemographics.com. Of course, take me there. Take me there. Yes, indeed. Take me right there. So, there we go. We go to blackdemographics.com and we are considered, let me see. All males, 163 million, so 20 million. So it's about of age 35. So we would be about 20 by 163. So that's about 14-15% of the population of all of all males. So I say about 12 to 15%, depending on where you go. So again, so there we have it. But we're not going to delay this any further. We're going to keep this moving. I think it's 12. I think it's about 12 to 15% anyway. So let me see, 20 and 163. Let's just do a quick bit of math here. Let's go C, and we go 20 divided by 163. Since we have our trusted calculator right here. No, not that. We'll go to 163, and we have, yes, 12% of the population. So there you go. So I was right. So black men are considered 12% of the U.S. population. So you can just pare that down to 3% in the UK. I think it's 3% in the UK, 2 or 3% in the UK. You go to a place like Canada, I think it's about 4 or 5% of Canada, and you can just pare it down as you wish going from there. So anyways, so that is for black men. So let us continue with the other side of the coin. the black women set of the population. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Fair use, fair use, fair use. We're looking at Median Man. Are you still a catch after 7 statistical factors?
Understand it. It was very simple. So did you guys enjoy that breakdown for the black men?
I did indeed, but just to let you know, this is Talk Talk Live, sponsored by Done Talk, DUNTLK.com. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's continue.
That was pretty good, right? It was easy to understand. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys understood what I did there. Hopefully I made it.
Let's go to black women quickly.
So, y'all ready? Ladies? I mean,
Yep, this is where the rubber meets the road. Fair use, fair
let's
use.
get to it. As you guys can see at the top of the list, we already removed 3 out of 4 black women. We removed 3 out of 4 black women. 75.2%. 75.2%.
So we're going to get back to that. So, I mean, the amount of women, let me see, 16 million black women, let me see, 20, all right, 21.6. Yeah, so, yeah, we have 19, they have 21.6. So, more black women than black men, yes, indeed. I was just looking at that. So, let's get into it.
Of 21.68 million is 16.3 million black women who are overweight or obese.
Stop that right there. This is the one thing that black women will get really pissed off at, but it's the truth. There are a paucity, and I do mean a minuscule amount of women who are fit, black women who are fit in the United States. 3 out of 4 women in the United States are overweight or obese. 3 out of 4. Black women will turn around and say, well, that's what black men deserve. Well, black men aren't taking that anymore. In a lot of ways they are. There are those who settle. The majority of people who settle, but there are a lot of black men who are not taking that anymore. So this will trigger a lot of women. I get it. But we're trying to be stringent. If we eliminated overweight and obese men, because that's what black women want, we got to show what black men want, which are the same. They want fit black women. Those who are not overweight and those who are not obese. However, when you live in one of the fattest countries on earth, and black women being the most overweight and obese women in that country, statistically, and shown here on Talk Talk Live again and again, you're eliminating a huge percentage, and I mean a huge slice of the pie of eligible black women ready to date. So from here alone, a lot of men have a lot of things to think about from jump. From absolute jump. And because they realize that in order to date, you may have to take a little meat on the end, the meat on the bone in order to find a relatively good woman. That goes without saying. And I think that goes on in most westernized countries. If you're dating with a black woman, chances are she tends to be big. But let's continue.
Lord have mercy. We didn't already remove 3 out of 4. Jesus. Black women left who are not overweight or obese. So if you minus that 21.6 million from 16.3 million, it's 5.3 million left. Now, remember we're using that inverse mathematics. Single, never married black women is at 48%. That equates to
16 million black women are out of that. Out of 21 million. 16 million are out. Keep that number in mind because of 21 million, 16 million are out. Okay, let's continue. We're going to go strong here.
48% of the number left over right here. You guys can see that. This number mirrors that. That means there are 2.5 million black women left. Now, we're looking at the mothers. 61% of 21.68 million is 13.2 million. We already went over that. 61% of 2.5 million is 1.5 million mothers. So if you remove that 61% from that 2.5 million, our positive number, minus 1.5 million, that's the mothers, that leaves 1 million black women left who are not overweight, obese, and aren't mothers, because we still...
Think about it this way, guys. Thank you very much for joining me in Talk Live. Think about it this way. Let's go back to the number that was left for men after you took away overweight, obese, fathers. Here. You took out overweight, obese, black men, single, never married, and fathers. Now remember, 68.6%. Again, 2 out of 3 black men are overweight, obese. Okay? That's not a good number either. Again, we have our cross to bear, to be fair. But again, you still have 6 million left. In terms of single, never married, you have a lot more black men who are single, never married. A lot more black women, a lot more black, actually, no. We're about to get to that. I believe that's not the case. Indeed, single, never married, there are a lot of single men who are never married. Now, the crux of this is the father point. 46% of black men in the United States are fathers, statistically, right? Leaving us with 1.7 million black men who are not overweight, obese, single, never married, and fathers. Now, let's go back to the ladies. Back to the ladies. So I'm going to do a side-by-side view. I just want you to get a mist of this. Here we go. Back to the ladies. So, there it is. You've slashed a huge amount overweight, obese, 75%, 3 out of 4 women. Take that out. Take out the single, never married, which is akin to what the men are, 48%. But the key is the mothers. The amount of mothers in the United States dwarf those of fathers. 61% of black women are mothers in the United States. 61%. So therefore, 2 out of 3, near 2 out of 3 women in the United States, black women in the United States, are mothers. Men usually like to deal with a clean slate. Chances are in the United States, if you are of baby-making age, your chance of finding a woman who has not had a child are slim. Are very slim. And that leaves us with 1 million left. Remember, you had 1.7 million left for men, of eligible men. However, there's only 1 million left of not married black women. Now again, we'll extrapolate that for most other countries. We'll further expand that into other races as well. Just getting a look at things as well statistically, but using blackdemographics.com. But that is not a great start for black women. You're not finding a lot of black women who are very eligible to date right now because of that mother statistic. But we roll on because it gets worse. Remember, you had all those stipulations for men. We got to do that. Here's a hint. We got to do all that for women. So let's go.
Obese and aren't mothers, because we still have married and not married black women in this number right here. Cool. Let's carry that over to the next slide. Here we go. Same number. Married black women, we got to remove them. That's 27%, right? So that equates to 5.8 million out of their general population. Now, if you remove the 27% from the 1 million left over from our positive number, that is 271,000 black women who are left. Now, if you remove that from the 1 million leftover black women minus 271,000, that equates to 734,000 black women who are single, never married, not obese, and aren't mothers. 734,000. Black women in poverty. Remember, we have to factor that in. There's 18.8%. So that equates to 4 million at our general population. 18% of 734,000 single, never married black women is 138,000. So we have to remove that number from the 734,000 minus 138,000 is 596,000 black women who are not in poverty, not obese, who are single, never married, and also doesn't have children.
Stop back. That's up. I just gave it away a little bit there. You can see it on YouTube, but let's go back again. Here we are. We've taken out married women now. We've taken out black women in poverty. 18.8% of women live in poverty. Now, deciding all those other factors, we've reduced that number from 1 million down now to 734,751 if you are married, down again to 138,133 black women to 596,618 black women left. And let's go back to our male statistic of said item. Here we go. You're already seeing the signs. It's not looking good. It's not looking good, especially for black men. It's not looking good. There are a higher percentage of black women in poverty. Never knew that, but yes, higher percentage of black women in poverty. Higher percentage of married black men. However, it still goes to show that that statistic in terms of obesity, that statistic that in terms of birth rate and mothers is way above what black men have to bring to the table. And because again, not all black men are involved in baby making. 54% of black men are single and childless. 61% are in the middle class. Here's what you see it. Here's where you really see it. You saw it in the last slide with regards to black women and their higher birth rate, and you see it here. The amount of you see it, and you see it again as we look forward. The amount of black women who are in poverty, which is more than black men, which is stunning to me. But again, I get it because more black women have kids. There are more single black mothers. So therefore, more black women in poverty. So again, we've gone into those stories. We're not going to rehash it. We're not going to go into it. But again, it's not a good site for reading, as you can see here. Less black women married, but more black women in poverty. More black women who are overweight and obese. More black mothers. It's driving that number down, even though there are more black women in the United States than black men. We had about 960,000 black men odd. Here we only have 596. So you're already seeing the disparity. You're already seeing the calamity that black men must hold in the dating market. Which is a shock to many in that there are more black available men than black women. Shocker. It's true. Again, that could be extrapolated for different countries, but those numbers really don't divulge unless you're in like an African nation, which is a more patriarchal society. But once you're in the West, they tend to resemble each other in terms of these numbers, taking the population in and of itself. So let's continue. It's not very It's not very good news for black men going out there to find a black woman. It really isn't. Let's go.
1,000. So we have to remove that number from the 734,000 minus 138,000 is 596,000 black women.
But remember, we are not done.
Not obese.
We are not done.
Who are single, never married, and also doesn't
more factors
have
to come.
Children.
More criteria to come.
Here it is. More categories to pull from. So black women in prison. Small number. Kudos to black women for that. 48,000 of 21.68 million is 0.22%. Again, kudos to black women for having that look.
That is a big kudos for black women. Shout out to black women for that. They're staying out of jail. They know that They know there's nothing good of being in jail, and they're staying out of it. We had this is one thing where black women are kicking black men's asses, and that's basically for the rest of the population. Men tend to be more violent, tend to commit more crime, so therefore tend to have more male prisons, more men in prison, and we were, I think, around 600,000 of us black men who are in jail. However, that's only 3% of the population. 3% of the United States. 3%. And yet there's only about 0.22% of black women in jail, which is a fantastic result. Shout out to black women for that, for staying out of jail, staying out of trouble. Give them credit.
Low rate of imprisonment. So 0.22% of our positive number, which is 596,000, is only 1,300 black women, 1,312 black women that we removed. So if you minus that, that equates to 595,000 black women left. We also have to remove the gay/lesbian black women population of 3.2%. That number is 693,000. 3.2% of that 693 is 22,000 black women that are removed for their positive number. So we have 573,000 leftover black women. So
before we get to that statistic, and it is stunning. It is literally stunning. Let us just have a closer look at the gay lesbian population, which every black woman was saying. A lot of black women were saying that there are more black men on the download than black men on the download than black women. That is not the case. That is definitely not the case. There's only 2.3% of the gay population the gay population considered gay are black. So therefore, that's 454,930. Taking it back to the lady, and that leaves us with a very small number of black men who consider themselves gay and who fit into all these categories. And yet you take it up to black women, there are more black women who are gay. More black women who are identified as being gay. Now again, just getting back up here. Oh yes, we were right. We were right. There we go, around there. More black women who are gay. 693,000. Yes, there are more black women who are gay, who identify as LGBTQ than black men. Let that sink in, ladies. No, you cannot accuse black men of being on the down low more so than men. No. Chances are there are more ladies who are down on the down low than men. And we'll sing that to the rooftops. But again, more black women tend to identify themselves as bisexual, tend to identify themselves as queer, tend to identify themselves as different parts of the LGBTQ community. So therefore, you get the larger number. However, it's still a sizable number. So we can put the rest of this whole down low sort of idea, because there's only 2% of black males who are gay. Think about that. So 573,106 black women are left. Yes, guys. Let's just finish this off.
693,000, 3.2% of that 693 is 22,000 black women that are removed for their positive number. So we have 573,000 leftover black women. So there are 573,106 black women who are not overweight or obese, childless, single, never married, aren't impoverished, gay/lesbian, or in prison. I just report the numbers. That's what it is. So,
well done to Media Man for doing that. Yes. What does that show? Well, let's compare the numbers again. Back to it. Back right to it. As you see here, 917,812 black men who are not overweight, obese, childless, single, never married, aren't impoverished, aren't gay, aren't in prison. Nearly 1 million black men are considered eligible single men that women can date. And that's a small number that's like, as we said, only about what? We said 14%. 12%. It was 12% of the black male population. 12% of the black male population. Which is, it's small. Again, it is small. So, that is to be sure. However, let's go back to black women again. And what do you see? Yes. You see this. There are 573,106 black women who are not overweight, obese, childless, single, never married, are impoverished, gay, lesbian, or in prison. So there's very few black women to go around. Stunning, isn't it? There are very few black women to go around for black men. You'd think, oh, they must be dead or in jail or committing crimes or on the down low or fat, obese, or not making enough money. No. We've already said before, 54% of black men are single and childless. 64% of them are in the middle class. They are there for you. It's just that you don't want them. Black women. And the fact of the matter is, there are not enough black women to go around for black men. So what does that mean? What indeed does that mean? Well, I can offer something. Since there are not enough black women to go around for black men, and again, this number can be carried out to certain aspects of the population. Again, we can say, this can be extrapolated for certain segments of the population. Let's go there. We could certainly say that about the Hispanic community. We can certainly say it about the black community, somewhat to the white community, but that's about it. You'll never say that about the Asian community. So again, our Hispanic brothers and sisters tend to share this sort of issue, this sort of problem. There are not enough Hispanic, Latin men to go around for Latin women because they tend to be obese themselves. They're just under black women. So they're sharing the same problem. But in terms of white men, in terms of Asian men, guess what? Much more black women to go around. So guess what's happening, guys? Guess what's happening? Follow me. Follow me here. Let's go back to the video. Let's go back to the video. So if there are more white, Asian, et al. Races to go around, guess what these men are doing? If there are... What are black men starting to do? Why are there more black men married? Because of the fact that they aren't sticking around and waiting for these 573,000 odd black women to come about. They're moving out. They're moving on. They're dating outside of their race because there are not enough black women to go around. And you can say that about the Hispanic community, but you can never say that about white women. That's why... Let me say this. That is why you don't tend to see a lot of white guys going outside the race for a black woman or a Hispanic woman, because there are so many more white women who are available, who aren't in jail, who aren't obese, who are childless, who have never married, and I think there are more black, gay, lesbian, or white women. Yes, I get that. But they tend not to be in prison either. But the big ones are overweight, childless, single, never married. Those are the big ones. And so you see, when black men are trying to marry black women, because, listen, I find it's a very difficult decision to make. Not when you're eliminating all these factors, as I do. I tend to eliminate all these factors. Myself, I'm not looking for an overweight, obese woman. I'm looking for a childless woman. I'm looking for a single, never married woman. I'm looking for one who's not impoverished. I'm looking for one who is not gay or lesbian. Not looking for one who is gay/lesbian. That's part of the LGBTQ community. And I'm looking for one that's not in prison. But I have a hard time doing it. But am I put off by those prospects? I am not. We're going to come back to hour 2 on this. It's a good time to break right now, so we'll come back here on IG. We're continuing here on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live, sponsored by DunTalk, DUNTALK.com. Back in a second. Yes, we are still here on Talk Talk Live on YouTube. Let me see if there are any comments available here. Let me see. I'm just digging in. No, we are good. Okay, and we're gonna do this. And again, we are back here live on Talk Talk Live here, and we are going back into the live on IG. So bear with me one moment. Here we go. Back on the live. And here we go. Oh, the reception tends to be very good today. So again, thank you very much for joining me on hour 2 of Talk Talk Live. We're just finishing up here. Well, I wouldn't say finishing up. We're still breaking things down on if there are good enough women for men to date in today's society. It has been shown in the last hour that there are not enough good women, good black women who are not overweight, obese, not childless, not single, never married, not impoverished, or gay or lesbian, or in prison, available for black men. They are a rare commodity. Very rare indeed. Very rare indeed. And for you to find a woman like that, it is, you're going to have to beat off a few men in order to do it. Because they're, let me see. I would say, you would have to beat off another man in order to do it. So we say, what? We say 973. Let me just do a calculation here. You say 917 to 573. Let's see. Let's go back here to the calculator. Let's see. So, see, 573. Yes. So yes, you got 573 divided by 917. 917, and we have 62%. So again, I would say again. 62% of you have to beat off at least one guy to find the woman that you're looking for, if you're an eligible black man. Now again, as will be pointed out by media men, so you have to beat off another man to find a woman like this in the black community. And I don't think you may have that sort of stiff competition in the Hispanic community, but I don't think you'll have that in white or / Asian communities, because I think there'll be more women to go around who are of this age, you'll find more eligible women to date more eligible women to date more eligible men. So therefore, these numbers would have flipped, especially in those communities, I think. So we're going in here simply because those communities do not have the amount of overweight and obese women in those communities. It just doesn't happen. You saw it here on Talk Talk Live. There's only about 33% of white women who are overweight and obese, and you saw yourself there are only about 10 to 15% of Asian women who are overweight and obese. That is staggering. So there are so many Asian women to go around for Asian men. So many. But again, that's why they tend to date outside of their race more, because there are not enough men to go around. That's why white women tend to date out of their race more, because there are not enough men to go around. You get it? All right. You catching what I'm dropping here? Simple. Just deductively, that's what's going on. So let's continue.
Or in prison. I just report the numbers. That's what it is. So yeah, so out of the 21.68 million black women general population, there is only 573,000 who are not overweight or obese, childless, single, never married, aren't impoverished, gay / lesbian, or in prison. Oh yeah, and I did the side-by-side comparison for you guys. I did not short you. I figured out everything so you guys can see it in real time. So, 917,000 available black men, 573,000 available black women. That is a difference of 344,706 black men available. So this is what the side-by-side comparison looks like. Black men are less likely to be overweight or obese. There are less single, never married black men than black women. There are less fathers than mothers. There are more married black men than black women. Black men have less poverty rates, a smaller poverty rate than black women. Black men have a higher prison rate than black women, which is, pretty normal. But like I said, kudos to black women for having that 0.22%. And then there are more lesbian/gay black women than gay black men.
Stop that right there. So you see it at a glance here on Talk Talk Live on YouTube. No surprise to me, but no one really dug into the numbers like Media Man, so we got to thank Media Man for this. No one really dug into the numbers. So when you say there are so many black women for black men out there, optimally, there aren't. Black men have to make a lot of compromises in order to find women. Chances are you'll have to find an overweight, obese woman with kids and who tend to live below the poverty rate. That's the long and the short. And they can be bisexual as well. Think about that. Think about that. They tend to be overweight, obese. They tend to be married at one time or divorced. They tend to be mothers, and they tend to be in poverty. And odd chance you may get a bisexual. There's your side-by-side comparison. So that's the prospect of black men out there today. Again, you can extrapolate that out to the Hispanic population, to the Latin population, because we have very similar numbers. But these numbers can't be carried into the white, can't be carried into the Asian population. You'll never get numbers like this. Those women tend not to be overweight, obese. Those ladies tend to be a little more single, never married. Those women tend to have less mothers. You tend to have more women who are out of poverty, and you have, in terms of the gay population, you tend to get more women. But the fact of the matter is, the biggest key is that there are less overweight and obese women. You can eliminate with here, you're taking 3/4. There, you're basically taking 1/3. So there's a lot more women to go around. A lot more. And now you know where this interracial dating statistics lie. It tends to lie with white women and black men because there are not enough black men to go around. There tend not to be a lot more. There tend not to be a lot more black women to go around for black men, especially in the United States, especially anywhere, who match all these things. And you tend not to have a lot of women, and women are very, especially in the white community, white women it's a whole lot more competition in those areas, especially if you fall out of these parameters. So, and especially Asian women as well, definitely so. Tend to have a lot more Asian women out there. So guess what? What is the highest rate of interracial dating found? It's with Asian women and white men. Because there's not enough, especially in the Western world, because there's not enough Asian men to go around for Asian women who match all these things. So there you go. So that's just a little tidbit there. That's how we tend to extrapolate the numbers outward. I was just using this as a base, as a guideline that could be taken out to other races, but that's in the Western world. But that's basically what we see here. That's why you see a lot more, in our community, a lot more black men with white women, because there's not a lot of black women to go around. There it is. Let's go.
Reason why I showed you guys the sources and the references. So if I decide to click this up and
there's tend to be a lot more, just not to cut people, not to cut Media Man off because he's done a tremendous job here. There tend to be a lot more passport bros out there, especially in these days and times going around, because black men have had to go outside of their of their common milieu in order to find women, either inside the country or outside the country. Now, again, I like to have a black woman myself, but again, I like her to meet all these markers, if not more, and we'll discuss that in a minute. But again, there's a reason why passport bros have taken off, because there's not enough black women who meet all these parameters available. There just aren't. The math ain't mathing. Right? Once you take all these factors into account, and they're even for both sides, there are a lot more black men available for black women. There are a lot more Hispanic men available for Hispanic women, because they share similar numbers. They share similar stats. There it is.
To a short or something like that, you guys can refer back to this live stream and you can see where I got this information from. So the reason why I did this is, for one, I see these narratives pushed in these spaces too many times. So I had to put the numbers out there just so we can have them in one place. And also I did this to let everybody know that the numbers, the final numbers that you guys see, is not really what both black men and black women are dating. The overarching point for me to do this live stream is to basically tell you guys that everybody settles. It's that simple. There are men who date overweight or obese women. They marry overweight or obese women. There are women who date overweight or obese men. And there are men who date women who have children. There are women who date and or marry men who have children. So even though we remove those large percentages, from the obesity and overweight and the fathers and the mothers, everybody settles. Does that make sense? So realistically, yes, okay, we start stripping away, and if it was a quote unquote perfect world, then that's what will be left in the black community. But we can all agree that everybody settles. So now you guys understand why I did this. Great way to let's see here.
Stop that for a second. He's right. I'll just rewind us back for a second. Everybody does settle. Everybody does settle, especially in the black community. We'll tend to take the overweight. We'll tend to take the obese. We'll tend to take women who have had kids. We'll tend to take women who have been married. We'll tend to take women who may be bisexual. We'll tend to take women who have been in jail. We'll tend to take any woman. And it goes vice versa. Again, we'll tend to take men who have been in prison. Men who are overweight and obese. Men who have been married. Men who have who are below the poverty line. But again, that only lasts for a time now. Men are on a timer if they've been around the poverty line. A lot more men will take a lot more women who have been living in poverty, because we see it as a man's duty to not only provide for himself, but for a family. And that includes a woman. So, much more prevalence in that area. But again, everybody settles, as Medium Man said. And in the black community, black men have had to settle for a long time. But with a 33% marriage rate, you got to think to yourself, why the increased numbers for black men in terms of marriages, even though they compose of less of the population than black women? I'll tell you what, as has been seen on as has been shown here on Talk Live, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. Where do you see the difference? Let's go to the difference. The difference lies here. The difference lies right about here. See it here on Talk Live. Married men, black men, 85% of them have a black wife, but you can see more with white spouses, more with Hispanic spouses, more with other spouses, more so than black women, who have 93% have a black husband, less so in terms of white men, less so in terms of Hispanic men, less so in terms of other. Black men are marrying out because there's not enough good black women to go around. despite all the compromises one must make. And with our acceptance in other communities, even though, we're the more vilified, people on earth, we get that. But, however, still opportunities for black men. You can drop some black men in Eastern Europe, he'll find someone. You can drop a black man in Asia, he'll find someone. You'll drop a black man in South America, he'll find someone. You'll drop a black man in Norway, he'll find someone. He'll find someone. That's the truth. And it's shown right here in the statistics. Extrapolate that out to the wider population. Black men can take their show on the road. Black women really can't. They've done themselves a disservice in terms of their media, in terms of their attitudes, in terms of their status in the world, in terms of their entertainment value, in terms of their, sheroes. They do themselves a disservice. So, that's why you see a lot more black men. 33% of black men are married. Yes, indeed. We go back here. 33% of black men are married. Why? And black women are married at 27%. One of the lowest rates on the planet. Why? Because black women don't do themselves any favors, unfortunately. But, again, as I've always said, you get fit, feminine, family, cooperative, submissive ladies, guess what? Your numbers in terms of marriage rates goes up, and guess what? I would reckon to guess to all those divestors out there, your interracial dating numbers will go up because other people will see you as marriageable and they'll want to marry you. Just giving you a hand here. I'm not one who's biased. I just tell it like it is. So, if you want better numbers, get yourself fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, and marry a black man. There you go. Done. But a lot of black women won't do it. They won't do it. They'd rather do bad all by themselves. But let's continue with the talk from media men.
Who date and or marry men who have children. So even though we remove those large percentages, from the obesity and overweight and the fathers and the mothers, everybody settles. Does that make sense? So realistically, yes, we start stripping away, and if it was a quote unquote perfect world, then that's what will be left in the black community. But we can all agree that everybody settles. So now you guys understand why I did this. Great way to. Let's see here. Mahogany says, and what if?
All right, we're gonna move on with because he has comments here. Here we go. Let's continue this topic right here. Let's go back a bit. There we go.
Body settles. Does that make sense? So realistically, yes. We start stripping away.
Sorry about that. We're just moving forward here. Oh, here we go.
Let's see here. Mahogany says, and what if?
There we go.
What are some unmeasurable factors that women look for to disqualify men? And then I want men to give me some unmeasurable factors for black women. So go ahead and start it off. I'll go ahead and write it in there.
Now, again, these are a lot of things that black men and black women look for in each other. That most women look for in each other. To be fair, this can be considered universal. This can be considered universal. I've heard white women want these things, Hispanic women want these things, Asian women want these things, Middle Eastern women want these things. Everybody wants these things. They all want these sort of men. Okay? These are unmeasurable factors that all women want. So you could say black women, you could say black men, but all women want the same thing. Basically the same thing. Let's continue.
You can put together a succinct list. Mental health, feminine, non-cooperative, nasty attitude, loyalty, high body count, fake hair. Fake hair. That's a big one. Because how many left out of that was that 500,000 black women. We got some women who don't like black men.
And see, that's the thing that makes this brings this into sharper focus is the fact that you have that 573,000 black women that are available for 917,000 black men. The fact of the matter is you have to take care of all these other things. That shortens the list again. That shortens the list again. That is a problem. Because instead of 536,000, that can be reduced down to 400,000, 300,000, 200,000. In the United States who are like this. So now you're looking for a smaller needle in a haystack. And that's a big trouble. Let's continue.
So, who's drunk says won't eat at Cheesecake Factory, but still.
Now, I want women to take notes on this. I really, really do. I want women and men to take notes on this as to how you should improve yourself. If you're any of these factors, don't just, brush this off and say, oh, they're not talking about me. They're talking about you, too. They're talking about me, too. I'm looking at this. How to improve myself, because men have to take, they have to engage in some sort of self-improvement. Women, they tend not to. Remember, they always see themselves as 10s. They always see themselves as perfect. So therefore, they don't have to engage in any sort of improvement, self-improvement. So we all need to take notes on what is being said here because, again, chances are they're talking about you. Let's continue.
Won't eat at Cheesecake Factory. Submissive credit score. And you know what? I'm actually put that for the black men as well. Credit score is definitely
those who caught that.
Burns water.
Those who caught that. Okay, I ain't gonna say anything else. But those who caught that realized that somebody was involved in that telecast. So let's go.
That's a cook. Okay, that's what I admit. Nobody said that. Can't cook. That's the first one. I thought that'd be top on the list. Okay. Hey, you a wild girl. Location of hairline, of his hairline. Hey, yo. Hey, that's good. I'm putting it in there exactly like that. Lack of discipline. Man, these are some good ones, y'all. Yeah. I got that one in there, Lamar. You said,
Let's just go back there. I mean, I'm just gonna smooth that back just a little, and let's see.
Some good ones, y'all. Yeah.
Right there. There we go. So, as you can see, in terms of black men, height no game. Again, men can't change height. Men can't change height. Average height of a man is 5'9". That can't change. We can't change our height. We are what we are. If you tend to be 5'4", 5'5", 5'6", you need to get your money up or you need to get in the gym. That's a problem. Or else it's gonna be trouble for you, especially black women who are extremely ruthless when it comes to height. Body composition. Again, you need to get in the gym or else you're in trouble. Unless you're in trouble. Credit score. You got to make sure you have your money up. Bad hygiene, of course. That should be a given, but not a lot of men see that as a given. Bad teeth. Not a lot of guys get their teeth checked out. More women get their teeth checked out than men. That's a big problem to us. Cheap men, yes. Men who don't pay for dates don't get in the dating market. Literally don't get in the dating market because you are at a loss. You should rather focus on your goals. Focus on the fact of greater earning than it is to get out of this dating market. Because again, you'll be left in the lurch if you do. Uplift white women over black women. You have that sort of hate. You do that in the black community. Sagging pants, again, if you're a man of a certain age, you shouldn't have sagging pants out there. Simple as that. If you want to be taken seriously by women, why are you sagging your pants? It's stupid. Again, not in children's lives, that's a big problem. A lot of black men, I wouldn't say a lot of again, black women say not in children's lives, but again, we'll go into a show a little later that is not indeed the case. That is coming. Boring. Yeah, if you don't have game, what the hell are you doing out there? You got to consider yourself interesting. Lack of financial literacy, as we said with credit store. You got to know how to handle money. No swag, no ambition. Yeah, that's key, especially black women. No swag, that is key. Black women especially consider cool factor over every other race. Goes without saying. If you are not cool, if you are not considered socially adept, you're not getting any. It's as simple as that. No ambition, no leadership skills, not a protector. Again, you have to see yourself as a protector. Anger issues, location of his hairline. Again, luckily I still have my hair here still. Thank goodness. Thank you, Father. And erectile dysfunction. Yeah. Black women are ruthless when it comes to erectile dysfunction. Man, if you can't do it in the bedroom, there's a problem. You gotta handle it, gentlemen. You've gotta handle it. Lacks confidence, lacks discipline, all these other things as well. For black women, again, let's go to the other side. Disagreeable, no tattoo. Disagreeable with tattoos. Black women have a huge problem with tattoos. It's Jezebel wrapped in Lilith. They're drawn to it like moths to a flame, and they show it everywhere. Again, not to say that black men don't do it themselves, but again, black men can cover it up. Black women don't, especially when they're going out on an evening together. That's a huge problem that a lot of black women don't realize, that sometimes you need to look like a woman more so than a man. Disagreeable. Huge problem with black women. You tend to be the most disagreeable on the planet, and that's the reason why you're the least married on the planet. One of the least married on the planet. Mental health. Yes, again, we all can check our mental health. That's the same thing with men. Can't cook. That's a huge problem, especially with Gen Z and with millennials. Their cooking skills are sorely lacking. Feminine. Ooh, that's the one thing black women are known for. Their lack of femininity. They tend to be a lot more single, independent, aggressive, masculine. Not a good thing for black men, and it has led a lot of men away from you. Social media presence, yes. If you tend to be on yourself on IG, or tend to put yourself out there, and even though you may have a man, you walk around like you have a for sale sign around your neck. Not a good thing. Men don't see that as being attractive. Again, non-cooperatives, free-spirited. Yes, free-spirited. Media Man had a show on a free-spirited woman yesterday. Free-spirited tend to be freaks, which is a good thing, but a bad thing is free-spirited women tend not to be good with money, and that they can lead you to a poorhouse very, very quickly. Non-cooperative. That goes without saying. Black women, oh God, they got to work on their cooperation skills. Nasty attitudes, yes, definitely so. Especially black women, they've got to work that out. I think they've taken that nasty attitude and shown it to the rest of the world. The rest of the world is following suit, especially that feminist ideal, that feminist woman's movement ideal of an attitude, and taking it to the rest of the world, and that's what's driven down their look in the general population. A lot of men don't want to be around black women because they have a nasty attitude. Loyalty, problem, of course. Well, women tend to be more promiscuous now than ever. High body count. Again, women tend to be more promiscuous now than ever before. You'll tend to find women with 30, 40, 50, up to 100 bodies. They'll never tell you about it because they're so easy to hide. Next, fake hair. That's been the problem for the last 50 years. But again, it continues. What are we going to do about it? Black men will settle for it. Don't worry about it. But it is our cross to bear. Well, black women's cross to bear. It goes without saying. If you're going to date a black woman, tend chances are she'll tend to have fake hair. We accepted that. Women who hate men, yes. Women who hate men, and especially black men, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. That's only rising. But the fact of the matter is, tend not to take their show on the road. They can't take the show on the road because we've already shown the statistics on that. Submissiveness, accountability, entitlement, yes, of course. We've already dealt with that around credit score. Women tend to walk around with a lot of debt, especially consumer debt and student debt. They tend to walk around with hundreds of thousands of dollars and ask for their men to pay it off for them, which is a problem. Men will not date a woman with a huge amount of such debt. And will rate our women depending on if they can pay off such debt. Has OnlyFans. Why women run to OnlyFans for fast money when it comes down to it, it results in soul problems. Definitely soul problems. Botch BBLs, of course. Women go under surgery, go under night to think that men will want them more. That has never been the case. Men would rather you be natural than for you to have a BBL, without question, especially if you're black. STIs, STDs, yes, that's an issue. Inability to communicate effectively, yes, and caked up makeup, yes. If you have a mask on your face and you look like a totally different woman when you take it off, guess what? We'll tend not to date you for the long term. That doesn't happen. That definitely does not happen. So we see all these views, and there are more. There are definitely more. Again, he, nose ring, goes to the gym, doesn't go to the gym, eagle claws, scammers, witchcraft women, free-spirited women, for the streets, media presence for men. I think it's pretty much has a felony, cheaters, scammers, black men who hate black women. We've already gone there to do that. And again, it's a bit of an issue. So again, he goes on to discuss these things and more. And I'm going to play this last piece here because it is quite funny, his last little caption of things. And again, I see it as very, very funny. And then we'll end the show. I'll let my man finish up.
Skinny for? What, we gonna be looking good in Snatch Store to go get some coffee? Oh, I got to go to the gym. I might get invited out for some coffee tomorrow. Let me go get my brows waxed so I can get this coffee. Ooh, girl, I can't. I'm fasting, girl. I'm going to Applebee's tomorrow. What do we have to be skinny for? Y'all ain't taking us nowhere where we got to fit into something to look extra good. Y'all ain't taking us to no fundraisers. We ain't going to no gala. Y'all ain't getting no private jets or something. Y'all ain't surprising us with plane tickets nowhere where we got to be snatched. Y'all trying to take us to Applebee's into your mama house.
The women be eating it up. Now, the deal breakers are unmeasurable factors that play into disqualifying a black man.
Oh, we always say hoteps as well.
His height, no game.
Okay.
Body composition.
We've already been through that, so let's just go through the funny stuff here.
Yeah. They're like that, you know what I'm saying? You act like you want somebody to holler at it. You got to stick it out there like that, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to be real with you, baby girl. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing serious about that. You know, I just want you to know.
Come here, young girl. Bad teeth.
You ain't got no new teethers neither, yuck mouth. Yuck mouth.
Cheap. He uplifts white women over black women.
If you're black, nothing for you. But if you're white, there's something for you.
Black men who hate black women.
Black women have been my enemy my entire life.
They've been your what?
My enemy.
Your enemy is your pocketbook.
I know.
Yeah. Sagging pants / lame. Not in children's lives. Has a felony. Boring. Cheaters. Lack of financial literacy. Scammers, no swag, uneducated, no ambition, hoteps, no leadership skills, not a protector, anger issues, location of his hairline, and erectile dysfunction. Now, here are some unmeasurable factors that would disqualify black women. She's disagreeable.
No, he wasn't. You lose. Of course he was. He was the star.
Nope, you're wrong. Look it up.
I don't have to look it up. It's common knowledge.
Nope.
He was on the cover
Nope.
of People magazine when the movie came.
Has tattoos, mental health, is out of whack, can't cook, not feminine. Why are you dealing with a nigga like that, son?
Shade. Why, Eli? Why, Eli?
So will you be?
Hold on. Why, Eli?
She has a social media presence, non-cooperative, free-spirited.
I'm a nomad, so I'm like all over the place. Like, and I'm also a goddess and manifestation
That's the black woman I was talking about. I'll continue.
coach, so I can work other places too.
The free-spirited one.
Nasty attitude.
And what the hell are you talking about? Do you mind? You ain't never seen black people on a train? You ain't never heard of the Underground Railroad?
For the streets.
No.
A good dick suck don't sound pretty.
No, I don't.
That's right. What?
Loyalty, not nurturing, has a high body count.
In your time on this earth, you have slept with 2,000 men.
No, 2002.
She has a nose ring of any kind. You know the septum, bull rings.
Oh, yeah.
Fake hair.
Hey, YouTube. Hey, YouTube.
Doesn't go to the gym. Skinny fat. Women who hate men. Eagle claw fingernails. Won't eat at Cheesecake Factory.
This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
Oh, man. Scammers. She's not submissive. Witchcraft women. The crystal ladies. Sage burners. No accountability. Beggars. Entitled. Boss chicks. Has a bad credit score. Has an OnlyFans.
I have an OnlyFans page, and he's mad because he's just now finding out about it.
Botched BBL.
These BBLs killing y'all.
Yo.
As a bitch.
As STIs, STDs, inability to communicate effectively, caked up makeup. We had to cut it off there. They will say women from Philly who
Okay, we're going to leave it right there. Thanks very much to Media Man for filling us in on this. This is a great list. But again, let's just have a quick chat, ladies and gentlemen. Just sum it all up here. Yes, indeed. Let's just have a quick synopsis of things. So you'll see. So you know what? Let me just do it this way. Yes, the side-by-side comparison. Perfect. Let's say, again, so with all those factors, of course, that's going to eliminate a lot of men. But these are the main ones. And these are the ones in which we see the wheat separated from the chaff. This is where we literally say to ourselves, hey, you know what? Certain types of women are dateable and certain types of women are not. Black women usually reel themselves out because they're overweight, obese, overweight. They're mothers and poverty, especially, and because they live in poverty, and also all those other factors. And black men are eliminated because they tend to be, well, I would say part of the prison population, yeah, but that's a very small percentage. But again, there are not enough black women to go around. That eliminates the category. Now, this would switch around if, speaking of white women, or this would switch around when it comes to Asian women, or Middle Eastern women, or South Asian women, or even African women, where there are a lot more patriarchal societies, and women tend to, well, for the most part, tend to be a little bit fitter overall. So, that's something to take away, that even though there are more black women out there, there are less eligible black women to date. And I would say that to the Hispanic population, even though there are more Hispanic women out there than Hispanic men, they tend to want to, there are not enough Hispanic women to date because they tend to be overweight. That eliminates a whole, 3/4 of black women, half I would say half or 2/3 of Hispanic women. So you find a lot of interracial dating in these areas, especially black men, and you can see the statistics in and of itself. So, what do we take away from this? Let me just get back to the bigger page, and that is, there are not enough, go back to the full cam, there are not enough black women to go around. There it is. You'd think there are, you'd think, but if you're going to do that, a whole lot of compromises have to be made. A whole lot. You have to not consider their weight. You have to not consider them mothers. You have to not consider them as in poverty, and you have to not consider them as part of the LGBTQ. You have to eliminate all these things, but definitely the first thing is the weight. You have to literally go in there knowing that chances are your woman will be overweight or obese to a certain extent. We have had to accept that. We've had to accept that. And as Sprinkle already mentioned, she ain't getting fit for a guy who's going to take her on a coffee date. She literally said that. And millions of black women have followed suit. So therefore, she's overweight and obese. So guess what? Most black women, they tend to be overweight and obese. So it depends on your racial group. And what are black men doing these days? Since there are not enough eligible black women to go around, they're dating outside. They're going on passports. They're taking off. And you wonder why. You wonder why. Considering all these known the 7 known factors, and all those other factors we had mentioned as well, a lot of black women eliminate themselves from dating. So, in conclusion, is there a good enough amount of black women? There are a good enough amount of good women to go around that are dateable by men. In certain circumstances, yes, and in certain circumstances, no. Depends on your race. It does. It literally depends on your race, depends on your tolerance level, depends on what you intend to accept. But chances are, if you go from a Hispanic / black community, there's not enough women to go around. If you tend to go to a white community, if you tend to go to an Asian community, your chances increase. Your chances do increase. So therefore, you see, especially in the Western world, you see a lot more Asian women dating outside of their race. And in the Western world, you tend to see a lot of black men date outside the race. Those are the two ends of the spectrum. Why? There are less Asian men to go around, so these women go out. And on the black side, there's less black women to go around, so they tend to go out. You get this? That's why I wanted to extrapolate this out to the community. But it all has to do with all these different factors, which everybody has. However, the main ones are the weight. The main ones are the amount of babies one has. And the main ones are the amount of poverty one lives in. Those are the main things. Those are the things that men look for and say, hey, I may not want to deal with her. Although, for me, I love black women. I'll take a chance on them. I'll keep taking a chance on them. However, patience, is it running thin? Am I willing to accept certain factors? As a black man, you have to. As a black man, you definitely have to. You have to accept that maybe she has kids. Maybe she lives in poverty. Maybe she's obese. Unfortunately. But if black men want a better life, that is their prerogative. Let them get it elsewhere. And for black women, you want a better life for yourself? Lower those detractors that are limiting you in the marriage stakes in the dating market because you're being fetishized, and men tend not to want to marry you. So you lower those factors, and also get married. Start having kids. Start having families. Because the more kids and families and marriages that you do have, especially with black men, guess what? Other men will see that too, And other men will want to date you as well. And that changes the narrative. And you got to change the narrative in terms of your black in terms of your media image. That has to change as well. Because now you're being fetishized. As black men are, of course, but again, we have more chances to get out there. But those are my 2 cents. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk live on IG and YouTube. We're going to get out of here right now. Just going to watch the end of this football game. Although, it's the Bears and the Carolina Panthers. And it's been really, really trash anyways. Nonetheless, it's been keeping me company. But I've been focused on you because nothing much to see there. So thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. I'm looking to have another show tomorrow night, just to make up for lost time. So look out for any sort of promotional ads on that. And yeah, thank you very much for joining me. Sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Fall Winter line out now on Duntalk. Going, especially for those Christmas gifts, those early Christmas gifts, go and check those out. So I'm going to get out of here, and I thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you soon on IG and YouTube. And good night from Toronto. And good night to you on YouTube here. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for your patience. It was a bit of a harangue there at the start, but we kept going, we kept moving. But again, hopefully things will be back to normal by tomorrow. They